Welcome to the Flashback Daily. So, usually when we think about history, we picture this massive, sprawling timeline, right? Stuff stretching across centuries and millennia. But what if I told you a single calendar day, just 24 hours, could echo across thousands of years? We're talking about a day weaving together the rise and fall of empires, literal scientific miracles, and these incredibly intimate moments of human courage. Today, in this explainer, we're zeroing in on one specific date, July 6th. And let me tell you, this isn't just some random day on the calendar. It's a day that has fundamentally reshaped humanity over and over again.
I mean, seriously, what connects a Spartan battlefield, a French laboratory, and a hidden attic in Amsterdam? Take a second to really think about that. On the surface, obviously, these are completely different worlds, right? They're separated by entirely different eras, different technologies, different human struggles. Yet they share this incredibly powerful thread of time. They all pivot on the exact same date. So we're going to follow that thread today. We'll see exactly how a single day acts as a stage for both the grandest, most cinematic shifts in global power and the absolute quietest, most profound acts of survival.
Chapter 1: Empires, Faith, and Crowns. The sheer scale of the shift on this day is just incredible. Okay, picture this. We're in 371 BC. Imagine the scene. Greek hoplites are clashing under these stormy skies, bronze armor reflecting whatever little sunlight manages to pierce through the dust of the battlefield. For generations, Sparta had been the absolute, undisputed military superpower of ancient Greece. No one messed with them. But on July 6th, that dominance literally shattered at the Battle of Leuctra. Thebes, led by a genuinely brilliant strategist named Epaminondas, introduced these radical military innovations that completely outmaneuvered the legendary Spartans. So this wasn't just a battle. It was the abrupt end of an entire era and the sudden rise of a new power. It's a perfect example of how fast the foundation of an empire can crumble in just a single day.
And we really see how this struggle for power evolved over the centuries. Jump ahead to July 6th, 1415, and we see Jan Hus standing calmly in a dark medieval town square in Prague. He was executed for challenging the church, an act of defiance that actually laid the crucial groundwork for religious freedom and the Protestant Reformation. Then, fast forward to 1483 on this exact same date. Now we're standing in Westminster Abbey, bathed in stained glass light for the coronation of King Richard III. That was a day steeped in fierce political maneuvering and royal ambition. And then, jumping to 1535, Thomas More is executed, choosing his faith and principles over the demands of his own king. So these aren't just isolated dates, right? They're this continuous story of power, faith, loyalty, and the incredible, sometimes brutal cost of holding on to your beliefs.
Chapter 2: Revolutions and Medical Miracles.
All right, now it's July 6th, 1777. The American Revolutionary War is raging, and we find ourselves at the siege of Fort Ticonderoga. Try to imagine the smoke-filled air, the deafening roar of cannons over the fortress, soldiers in authentic 18th century uniforms totally locked in combat. This was a hugely critical moment where calculated British military strategy clashed directly with fierce, determined colonial resistance. It really highlights the sheer grit it took to forge a new, independent nation from the grip of a massive empire. But revolutions don't only happen on battlefields. In the 19th century, the world was facing the terrifying, genuinely deadly threat of rabies. But on July 6, 1885, in a quiet, warmly lit French laboratory, the brilliant scientist Louis Pasteur takes a monumental risk. He administers the very first rabies vaccine to a young boy named Joseph Meister, who had been severely bitten. And the boy lives. Medicine is changed forever. July 6 is the literal birthplace of a medical miracle that would go on to save countless lives. Talk about a game changer.
Chapter 3: Courage in the Dark.
Let's shift the focus now to July 6th, 1942. Picture the rainy, gray streets of Nazi-occupied Amsterdam. In the midst of one of the most horrific periods in human history, a young girl named Anne Frank and her family walk into the secret annex to go into hiding. Behind a softly glowing attic window, they sought refuge from an unimaginable terror. When we look at this date, it really reminds us of the deeply personal, devastating human cost of history. It brings all those massive, sweeping global events we usually talk about down to a single, vulnerable family just trying to survive the darkness.
There's a quote that I think perfectly captures what we should take away from this. History is not made only over centuries. It is written by ordinary people. When we think about July 6th, sure, we have the roar of Spartan clashes and revolutionary cannons, but we also have the quiet, profound courage of individuals. Like a scientist working late in his lab to save a child, or a young girl writing in her diary in a hidden attic, desperately clinging to life and hope. That right there, that is the true fabric of history.
Chapter 4: The March Toward Freedom.
Get this, entire nations were literally born on this day. Both Malawi and the Comoros successfully claimed their independence on July 6th. Imagine the vibrant celebrations, the national flags waving in the air, the massive crowds cheering in the streets as they officially claimed their freedom and identity. It's a day that truly represents the triumph of self-determination, echoing that exact same spirit of independence we saw centuries earlier at Fort Ticonderoga, but entirely in their own right.
And you know, that march toward freedom wasn't just about borders and nations. It was about breaking societal barriers too. On this day, Althea Gibson wins Wimbledon. The historic roar of that Wimbledon crowd wasn't just celebrating a tennis match. They were witnessing a monumental blow for civil rights. By claiming that victory, Althea Gibson absolutely shattered deeply entrenched racial barriers in sports history. She demanded equality on a massive global stage, proving once again that a single day can redefine what is possible for generations to come.
Chapter 5: Legacies of July 6th.
It's actually kind of wild when you look at the sheer diversity of the people born into the legacy of July 6th. It's staggering. We have the visionary, fiercely authentic artist Frida Kahlo. We have George W. Bush, a world leader who undeniably shaped modern geopolitical history. We have Sylvester Stallone, a global cinematic icon. And we have Paul Gasol, an internationally celebrated athlete. From art and politics to entertainment and sports, these individuals were all born on this exact date. They stepped onto the stage of a day that was already loaded with historical significance, and they went on to forge their own immense legacies.
And of course, just as it welcomed life, July 6th also marked the departure of some serious historical legends. We bid farewell to King Edward VI, deeply altering English royalty. We lost George Simon Ohm, a scientific pioneer whose discoveries in physics quite literally power our modern world today. And we said goodbye to Louis Armstrong, the absolute giant of American music, whose trumpet changed the landscape of jazz forever. Their stories, concluding on the specific date, leave this lasting resonance that continues to shape our culture right now.
So, across continents and across centuries, July 6th reminds us that history is never confined to a single place. It isn't just a boring list of facts in a textbook. It's a living, breathing tapestry woven continuously by ordinary people, by warriors and scientists, reformers and artists. And the crazy thing is, every single one of us is participating in that timeline right now. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. If a single day can witness the fall of empires, the curing of diseases, and the breaking of barriers, what will your legacy be today?